Nothing. Hi!
Who do you have there?
It's a little probe.
That's awesome.
A little plushy probe. He's the cutest.
And when you bonk him, he makes noise.
This sure would have been handy for the cosplay build I just did.
Hey everybody, welcome to Prop Live Q&A, your mostly weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. I'm Bill.
I'm Britt.
And we're here to tackle your technique questions and help you guys out with any prop and costume builds that you've got going on. But first, we've been up to a lot lately. We didn't have an episode last week because we were in California.
We were in Anaheim.
We were in Anaheim, California for BlizzCon.
BlizzCon!
I realized that...
okay, I'll set him down. You lightly brush him and he goes off.
If I only made it to Dragon Con and BlizzCon every year, that I think would be enough to satisfy me. There's something magic about the way Blizzard has built a community of people that inspires them to do things like make a lot of really, really cool costumes that I find absolutely appealing.
I also really appreciate the atmosphere. In the show notes, I'll link to the opening ceremonies. They put it up on their YouTube channel. Like halfway through is when the opening ceremonies actually start. My time code goes straight to that. If you have any interest in anything Blizzard, I recommend just watching it, having it on in the background. To really, it's just so neat to see how much effort they put into releasing new content and how they present it, and everyone on stage seems really stoked. Yeah. And I was all smiles the whole time watching this.
There was also a D&D campaign.
Yeah, sort of. Their next Hearthstone expansion has D&D vibes, and the audience got to do some cute stuff.
This part was really great. This was for Hearthstone. And they did a little sort of choose your own adventure thing with the crowd that was really amazing.
Yeah.
We won't spoil it all for you guys. We'll just link to it and recommend you go over and watch it. Even if you're not into Blizzard games. Like, for example, I haven't actually played a Blizzard game in like 3 years.
Yeah, I'm not currently playing any Blizzard game at all.
Now, we did play, the two of us played World of Warcraft for about 5 years straight. We've also played StarCraft and Diablo, all the Diablos. And all the StarCrafts and original Warcraft.
We never had time to get into Overwatch. I don't play Heroes of the Storm, but I have it installed. Yeah. And I just look at all the cool art. So there's that. But
even though we're not currently playing any games right now, it's still something that we draw a lot of inspiration from. Both the art that Blizzard creates and the culture that their company embodies. Those are things that we, as humans who are running our own business, pull a lot of inspiration from. So that's really cool. We recommend you go check that out. I made a cosplay music video.
Bill's all like beat down boogie and sneaky zebra now.
Channeling my inner sneaky zebra. And go check it out. I'm actually pretty proud of it. So we made Probius. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But what was cool is that I built an RC car into his base, so I drove him around. I didn't even wear a costume. I would just drive him around, which gave me a chance to talk to people, which gave me a chance to take pictures of people, and I was like, why not just take a bunch of video? I got my nice video camera, film a bunch of video of a bunch of amazing costumes, and I had enough footage to put together my own little music video. So there's our friend Deanna as an elf, looking awesome, being safe with her arrow so she doesn't accidentally shoot someone. Anyway, that's a video I put together. I thought it was really fun. If you're into cosplay music videos, go check that out. Again, we'll link to that in the notes of this episode.
It's also really neat to see how much Bill's camera gear has grown for video content. Because last year at BlizzCon, we had a GoPro, and that was our video last year was all filmed on the GoPro. And this year, Bill has his newer, fancier camera, and it was really cool that you got to use some of its awesome features, like doing some slow motion stuff.
Yeah.
And it's much better in the low light environments inside the convention center.
Just realized I wasn't logged into Twitch over here.
Oh.
That's probably why I didn't see people tagging me. There we go. Boop. All right.
I mean, I'm seeing the chat down here.
I just put the link to that video in the show notes, or in the chat right there if you want to check it out. Cool. There we go. So there's that. That was, if you want to get a good rundown of costumes.
Yeah, our Alex Waverly, we have our omnidirectional mic thingy on, so we're picking up the whole room right now.
Yeah.
If we had a 3D printer going on behind us, you'd hear it. So that's just how it is.
Bada Bing says, you put Sparks in it twice. Yeah, because she had 2 awesome costumes. Let's see, what camera did you use to shoot the music video? I don't have it here, but it's the Panasonic GH5, which I purchased fairly recently as a huge upgrade. The last camera we had was we still have them, the Nikon D7000, which was over 5 years old, I think.
Yeah, so, I'm still using that one since Bill's using the Panasonic. But yeah, that thing is... It's
a huge jump forward and well overdue.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't handle... Like, I should have assumed camera upgrades have gotten, like image stabilization. I was like, oh, how much better could it be? It is amazing.
It's magical.
Compared to, I need to keep our Nikon on a tripod, and I'm just used to filming that way, but I couldn't take it to a convention and hand hold it. There's no way, unless you're going for, shaky cam.
So, we put together Probius. So, the story goes, Brittany started Probius less than a month ago, and we didn't tell anyone about it because we weren't sure if it was going to get done on time. But it did get done on time with the help of me and a couple other Core Geek and Spicy Tie helped us on the last day get a couple extra features put into them before we moved out. So we got to California. We went to our friends MatterHackers in Lake Forest, and they had a really cool meetup. He worked, which was awesome. So we posted that we were going to have Probius out there. Now, while we were at MatterHackers, they filmed a video with us, which is out. I'm going to drop that in the chat as well if you want to check that out. It's a video about some of his innards, Probius's innards. So if you want to sort of get started seeing on how he went together, that's a good place to start. But don't worry, come Monday, we're going to have a whole crap load of Probius. I think we're putting out 3 videos all at once. Tons of stuff. All of the stuff Brittany did, all the stuff I did. And then we took a bunch of video of Probius at BlizzCon of him cruising around, having a good time. So I made a little Probius Goes to BlizzCon video. I'm very proud of it. It's super, super fun.
He's so proud of it. He put it up early on our Patreon.
Yeah, so if you're a patron, patreon.com/punishedprops, you can head on over there and watch Probius's video right now. It's linked there for you. For everyone else, it will go live on Monday, and you can check it out. But if you want access to it right now, well, become a patron, and you can jump right in and watch it. But anyway, we're going to do that video, and then we'll have Brittany doing the body work, most of the body work, and then how I built the RC base. So we'll have 3 videos coming at ya. What else do we have? We went and saw Thor, and it was amazing.
Yes, go see Thor Ragnarok if you haven't yet, because I already want to see it again.
Yeah, I could have started watching it again as soon as it ended. It was hilarious. I
just like fun superhero movies, and this was a fun superhero movie. So no spoilers in the chat. The movie just came out this past week.
No spoilers.
But also it was beautiful. The costumes, set designs. I loved all the armor. So
the director is the same guy who did What We Do in the Shadows. And if you haven't seen that movie, go see it. I think it's on Amazon.
I think it's on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on one of those.
Either way, go find it and watch it. No matter what, if you have to pay $5 to rent it, it's worth it. What We Do in the Shadows, it's a documentary about vampires, and it is also hilarious. Same dude that directed the new Thor movie, and it shows because the new Thor movie was the funniest movie I've seen in years, and probably my favorite movie all year. So, and lots of cool props and costumes from Thor. Lots of inspirational stuff.
Oh, real quick, I saw Kagar Props post this. I've been getting this quite a bit lately about people like they got to see the Probius I made, and then Blizzard also made their own Probius, so there was 2 of them, and it is okay to not have to have a favorite.
Yeah.
I like both of them for different reasons, because they're both made very differently, and it was neat to see how 2 completely different builds. We didn't know we were making them. Like, neither one of us knew that we were making them. And they both arrived at the same time, and they're made very differently. And it's you don't have to pick a favorite.
And
you
can
just like both of them.
They had babies, look.
And they had babies. That's the reason I have a little Probe plushie, is the Heroes of the Storm team gave one of those to me.
Yeah.
Which, thank you so much.
That team, they were super nice and really excited to see our Probius.
Yeah. Oh.
I will say, I think that mine would win in a race. Just saying.
If you're comparing attributes like that, yes, because
it's objectively faster.
Their base looked way more sturdy. It looks like an actual scooter.
Hey,
like
mine didn't fall over.
It almost fell over a couple times.
Almost. Horseshoes and hand grenades. Awesome. So we're gonna tackle some of your guys' questions here in just a little bit, but we have some stuff that we want to go over with you guys. We figure we've been mulling on some things behind the scenes here at Punished Props that we want to just kind of go over with you guys and get your just gauge your temperature on it, really, and see if you guys have any feedback. I've been running this business now for over 5 years. It would be arrogant of me to say that I know what I'm doing. And everything that we do, everything we try to accomplish with our company is in the service of providing valuable things for the community, for you guys. So we have some goals, we have some ambitions that we want to act on, but we want to get feedback. Make sure that you guys think it's a good idea too. I think you will. I'm excited about this. One of the first things that I wanted to jump on, you guys may have noticed that some of our branding has changed from Punished Props to Punished Props Academy. Just the header images on Facebook, and we're going to start changing everything out to kind of start using that a little bit, because that's what we're all about now. In the past 5 years, Punished Props has changed from a company that makes props to a company that makes content about making props and costumes. And we get new people coming in all the time, and we want to make sure it's clear that they know that this is a place to learn. Like, we don't sell props, we sell books about making props. That's in service of people coming in who want to buy a prop, understanding that this is not the place for that. And if it's not the place for them, then that's okay. They can go elsewhere to a community that's more suited to what they're after. We want to make sure our community is focused on what we're all about, which is teaching people how to make stuff.
Yeah. It's neat to see, too. We'll be at a convention, at a booth, and we'll have our, Punished Props sign. And we would get someone coming up who, doesn't know the cosplay community very well, doesn't know the maker community very well, and they make assumptions. They're like, oh, you must make and sell props. Will you make me a prop? And then once they, I'll talk to someone and be like, no, we teach people. And they're like, wait, you can learn how to make this stuff? It didn't even occur to them that they could actually learn how to do this. So the easier we can make that the target, so that they know it's even an option. It's neat to watch that transition happen.
Or
it's
sometimes
really cool.
Sometimes people will say, well, I have no interest in learning, I just want to buy the thing. And we're like, well, then this is not for you.
And that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Super quick, I want to point out that TNT Cosplay Supply is in the chat, and we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
They resubbed for 13 months.
They did.
It's ridiculous.
Also,
awesome.
I hear some of their foam was featured on the Orville in a television show.
How cool is that?
Because Thingergy, Frank Ippolito's studio, used their foam to make stuff for the Orville. So that's kind of awesome. You guys are making foam that they're using for a TV show, and now that's on television, and that's great. So I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy to see that working out for you, and I'm also happy, very happy to continue using your foam. Mm-hmm. A lot of Probius was made out of TNT cosplay foam.
Actually, most of it was floor mats.
Yeah?
Yeah. I had one of our friends a while ago gifted us a giant stack of floor mats.
30 floor mats showed up on our front door.
I need to find out what brand hues specifically because they worked really well.
Yeah.
They were super nice, super thick. But I've finally gone through all of them. So part of Probius is TNT cosplay foam. The rest,
next
the rest
time
is
anyone
formats.
wants to buy us foam, just go ahead and get some of that TNT cosplay foam.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, please don't buy us more floor mats. I'll actually use them on the floor next time.
Cool. All right. So anyway, speaking about big plans, big things going forward for Punished Props. So far for the first 3 years, Punished Props was just me. For the last 2 years, it was me and Brittany, and for the forever now, forever, you can't quit. I rely on you far too much. You're stuck with me.
Yay.
But she agreed to that 7 years ago, so that's kind of okay. Punished Props is now 3 people. We have a third person. We hired this little Probius. No. We hired on another human being to come help us out. You will meet her next week, I think. She'll probably be on the live stream. Someone from the community. You'll get to know who it is here pretty soon. Many of you probably already know her. She's super awesome. But basically, there are many things that we need to do going forward that I need to do. But I can't find the time to do those things because there are many other administrative type things that I'm stuck doing.
Most of the time Bill spends in this office. Yeah. He is not in the shop very much.
So, we hired someone to start picking up a lot of that administrative stuff. So, for example, we do things like publishing videos, right? I'll shoot a video, I'll edit the video, and then I'll upload it to YouTube, and then she will do the thumbnail, do the description, do all the links, schedule it for posting, all of that stuff. And the cool thing about this is, as we get into a schedule, we can batch all this stuff. I can upload several videos or just keep them uploaded, and they'll be unlisted on YouTube until they're ready to go, and then she can just push them out as the schedule is available.
Yeah.
A bunch of things like that. Handling emails, making sure emails sorted.
Yeah, it's with the noise of the internet these days, we really want to make sure that you guys don't miss out on videos. So we have our newsletters, which we haven't been doing regularly forever. But you'll notice if you subscribe to our newsletter, they've been coming out regularly.
Yes, they have.
Like once a week.
I've had nothing to do with it. It's been awesome. So we have another person on staff. She lives down in Portland, so she's not here, but she will be visiting next week. So you guys get to meet her, and she will slowly become more and more a part of what we do in our day-to-day thing. Part of why I need someone else to pick up a lot of my responsibilities is because everything we do needs to be not in our basement anymore. We need to move. We've been saying this for a long time, and now that I'm moving responsibilities onto another person, that frees up time for me to start looking for a new shop, figuring out how we're going to pay for it all, looking for a new place to live too. If we're going to move our studio we're south of Seattle right now, we want to move like northeast, kind of where my brother and his wife live. We'd like to be closer to our friends and family. We need to move where we live, and we've been here for 5 years now. We're kind of embedded here, so it's going to be no small task. Mm-hmm. We've purchased many heavy things since moving into this house. So that's going to be part of my big responsibilities for the next months or so as we start to figure all this stuff out. Yes, we are. Yes, hey, Pat, we are finally moving out of the basement. The major thing... the reason why, 2 major things. One, it's not the safest place to work. We are in this basement all day, every day. It needs to be super, super safe. Corgi is excited for us to move north. That's right.
Yes, any tall person that visits our shop is excited for us to not be in this basement.
And then the other thing, we want to work out of a shop that is more suited for filming. We film every project that we do so that we have content for you guys. This place down here is a nightmare to film in. The lighting is just terrible. I've purchased lights at different times, so they're all different color temperatures. It's just a mess. So eventually, the plan is to buy or build our own dream studio shop. That's our long-term goal. It's looking more and more like we're going to have an intermediary step there where we move into a rented space for a year or two. use that as like a staging area to start being able to work towards buying land, maybe perhaps building a big studio space, figure out where that's all going to go. But more importantly than that, we need to just get out of here. We need to move out of here.
I will say I'm glad it took us this long to figure out exactly what we wanted, because if we made this move like 3 years ago, what we would have ended up with would be very different.
Yeah.
It probably would have been more of a production environment that services like props. But we are looking for a video production
studio
environment.
production space.
A studio production workshop. It's something very specific that we now know exactly what we want to set up.
Imagination to Form says, and you get invaded by birds. Yes, our shop gets invaded by birds.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. They sometimes come down the unused chimney thing. It's a pain.
Mm-hmm. So here's the challenge for us. Now, part of the reason we've been able to prosper with our company, part of the reason why we were able to bring Brittany on full time, is where we live right now is ridiculously cheap. For near Seattle, as near as we are to Seattle, it's stupid cheap. We've been here for 5 years. The landlady lives next door. She has never raised the rent in 5 years, and it already was pretty cheap. Which is great because that gave us room to grow. We could save lots of money that way, and we could choose to do things that were riskier with our business because it wasn't going to bite us in the butt financially. The downside of that is it doesn't give us a lot of incentive to move, right?
Yeah, we could stay exactly the way we're doing it, where it's just us creating videos that teach people how to make awesome stuff in our basement. We could just do that perpetually.
Yes.
But then we wouldn't be growing.
Cave Canham says you'll finally have a glitter-free shop again for how long? I bet not very long.
I bet it's going to travel with us. Like, I'll open a box.
Yeah, we'll open a box and just, we're finally in the new shop. Poof! And just glitter everywhere. So here's the challenge then. Because where we live and work is so cheap now, any move that we make anywhere is going to immediately be more expensive. Mm-hmm. My prediction is going to be, and I'm not joking here, everything's going to cost double or triple what we spend now monthly.
I'd say that's fair because we live in the Seattle area and everything has gone up like crazy. Yeah. Amazon's been expanding. There's so many other tech companies, and it's just like cost of living has just gone up like crazy.
Yes.
So I mean, I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, we're okay. We are okay with spending every penny we make on our business.
Yeah.
On making it a better place to film better content.
That is exactly
where we're totally fine with that.
Our time and money. Like
yes.
this is what we want to do.
Every hour of every day we spend on it, and every penny we have gets dumped back into it.
Yeah. And we love the area. We don't need to be like right in downtown Seattle, but a couple hours, close to Seattle. Like, we might, I don't know, we'll find out what we end up with.
We will. But here's the main thing is that all of our income from our business comes from you guys. Whether it's subbing on what are we doing? Twitch. There we go. Whether it's subbing on Twitch or even better is Patreon. In fact, Patreon's probably the best place if you guys want to help us out because it's regular income, which is a tough thing to come by. If you watch or share our videos, if you buy our books, if you use our Amazon affiliate links, anything like that, that's how we earn our income. And like we said, all of it gets dumped back into the business. Everything I'm wearing is clothing that was given to me. I don't spend money on clothing. I only spend it on business. But it's going to be much more difficult in the next year because things are going to get tight.
Yeah.
So we need your help. Part of that will be we're going to be having more incentives on our Patreon campaign to give you guys more reasons to help us out there.
Especially with having a new employee, they're going to be able to help us with the incentives. Like, it's one of those things where we want to make sure everyone gets their value.
Yep.
And
that's right. We have to pay an employee now too.
Yeah, that too. That's great though, because it's one of those things where like we're going to have more hands to help people learn how to do stuff, how to make stuff, and that's exactly what we want.
We are going to have some new products, and this is where we're finally going to do t-shirts. Now that we have the whole branding thing with the Academy branding rolling out, we're going to get some Punished Props Academy t-shirts, probably some Prop Tart t-shirts as well, or not Prop Tart, Foamsmith t-shirts. I ordered some Foamsmith pencils that should be showing up any day now, which should be really exciting.
How many, what kind of volume I'm going to have to keep track of pencils?
I think I ordered 500 pencils.
Okay, that's not bad. Compared to books, that's not so bad.
So yeah, that's the thing. We're getting ambitious. We're trying to make this into something bigger, and we can't do it without you. So thank you guys so much for helping us out so far. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Ionalith, pointing out, patron and sub. All of you guys are friggin' awesome.
Thank you so much
for helping us out so far. At some point we will put out the clarion call and say, hey guys, it's time to really make a big push, because we're gonna, right around the time when we move into a new space and realize everything costs 3 times more. So just keep an ear to the ground. We'll keep you guys informed. We will, all of this stuff that we're doing, we don't want to keep anything from you. We want to make sure you guys are kept up to date on everything.
Sorry, I won't touch my probe anymore. he's so loud. It's going back real quickly to conventions. One of the things I like about going to a convention is, especially in the last couple years, the amount and detail level of costumes that have come out of the cosplay community has just skyrocketed. And I really do truly believe it is because we're all sharing these tips and techniques and builds that we're all doing, and you guys sharing all your builds online has been awesome to see people take those and just run with it. And that's what we want to do more of with our new studio space we'll have. Yeah. Bring in some different experts in fields like leatherworking, or even photography, all sorts of stuff. And then we'll do tutorial videos, and then we'll all of us will learn from that. I want to learn from it. There's so much stuff I want to try. So I am really excited for all of this.
I see people throwing lots of recommendations in the chat. That's awesome. If you have any way that you think you could help out, please feel free to get a hold of me. You can just ping me on Twitter. I'll follow you and we can DM. That's probably the best way to communicate. Because I see lots of Alex has a pro photographer uncle in the Northwest. That's awesome. Cool. TNT Cosplay wants to sell our books. Send me an email. We'll figure that out. What else? Cool. So anyway, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
Even setting up the new shop. Think of the cool content we're going to get out of that. Yeah, we're going to
make lots of cool videos.
Like making tables.
I'm going to build an actual spray booth.
An actual spray booth? Yep. I'm so excited.
I'm going to learn how to weld.
Yeah.
Weld some things. We figure if we rent a shop for about a year to kind of stage our dream shop, building our dream shop, we could use the rented shop to start building stuff to move over to the dream shop. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to get a truck.
It'll be a Punish Props truck.
Mm-hmm.
Make it out
I want to get a van and paint it like the Ninja Turtles party van. That'd be awesome.
That'd be so good.
Hey Patches, how about having guest appearances, do videos on the channel? That's right. Mm-hmm. We'll do all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be rad. I mean, it's even we've been trying to think long term, and this is great. If you're in the middle of having your own business or thinking about starting your own business, there's a lot of things you want to think about for the future. So we've been doing a lot of 20 years from now. And it's it could get to the point where our studio is a couple different channels of creating content. So if Bill just loves welding, he could have his own separate channel for that, or RC cars or drones. And we'll still have our Punish Props prop and costume channel. But there might be more. It's we'll see how crazy this stuff gets.
Jake's in the chat there. He says that they mentioned Probius Untested.
Aw.
Was that on their podcast, maybe?
I bet it was. Because they're probably talking about BlizzCon, because Frank was there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, basically, guys, just keep an ear to the ground. If we need help with anything in particular, we're going to turn right to you guys. Either we'll let you know on the podcast, or we'll just post in in the Prop Tarts page.
Yes, your opinion matters the most to us.
Yes,
for sure.
Because everything we make is in service of you guys and what you want and need. So that's the goal. We just want to be able to do more of that
consistently
better.
Too. Like
more consistently.
Yeah, like Bell can't do all this by himself forever. It's not sustainable.
Cave Canum says, speaking of 20 years from now, if you put everything back into the business, do you have a plan for retirement? Or do you intend on going on forever? I want to have the option to retire. Right now, I don't ever feel like I want to stop doing this, but I do want to have the option for that. So yes, we plan to have the option to retire at normal retirement age.
More than likely, it'll just be us switching disciplines to different projects, but we'll see.
I say that we dump everything. We have savings. The main inspiration for saving as much as we can is that throughout the history of our business, the income has been incredibly inconsistent. So whenever I can save money, I do it because I know there's going to be dry spells. I'm prepared to take a hit if just the money dries up for one reason or the other. If that happened, if for some reason the income totally stopped, we would be okay for a little while. So that's good. So,
Actually, if you want to transition and answering some questions, I have a business question.
Let's do that first. Yeah.
I'll pull that up before the others. The question is from Colt. He says, how do you go from making props as a hobby to making a living from it? What advice could you give a hobbyist maker to take the next step?
All right. So I'm going to start by going to our website, which, by the way, guys, I put a caching plugin in our website, something I should have done years ago, and it appears to make our website run faster.
Hooray! So... Something else that we're not as web designers. So.
Yeah. So if you go to punishprops.com, go to social and go to business talk. Everything that we've put out about running a business, including some book recommendations, are listed here. So if you're looking to just dive into all of that, then that's a good place to start. I have a video. Which one was it? It was a podcast. This one here, turning creative passion into a successful business. This episode of the podcast that we did kind of showcases my path to turning this into a business. That doesn't mean your path will be the same. Just know that listening to my path might be helpful. The main thing is deciding whether or not it's the right thing for you to do in the first place. The main reason why we could make this into a living, a couple things. One, Brittany still had her job for 3 years, which gave us things like steady income and health insurance. And also things like we have no student loan debt, we have one car that's paid off, and we have no children. Which were all conscious decisions on our point, from us, so that we could afford to take risks. Because for 2 years, my business made negative money. I dumped money into the business. I made less than I spent for 2 years. So if you can afford to do that and not put your family out on the street, then awesome. Yeah. Because that is going to be the case. Like, I have never heard anyone start a small business and go, oh, we were profitable in the first year. It was great. Yeah.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Probably. I will say that everything's a little bit different, or probably a lot different in the prop and costume world compared to when you got started with just the way that 3D printers are, and that's the way that there are now more visibly small businesses that create things for companies. So like Project Triforce didn't really exist as much back then. And so what you could do is hop on board one of these maker teams that already exist that produce either toys or action figures or props for companies, and just learn what you can from them, like maker-wise and business-wise, and then break off and start your own company from that, like as, you know, just whatever your favorite thing is to make, have it
Yeah.
be that.
I like this. TNT Cosplay in the chat says, I still have a day job while Mother and Big Chicky run the day-to-day of the business. That way I don't have to take a paycheck and can reinvest into the growth of the company. I've heard that from a lot of people I know who run their own business, is that they haven't paid themselves in quite a while so that they can reinvest any money they make into the business and pay employees if they have employees. We didn't have employees. It was just me for a long time, so I just didn't make any money, and basically Brittany bought the food.
Yeah.
So.
Someday we'll give ourselves salaries, I guess.
Yeah, we still don't. We do pay ourselves on a fairly regular basis, but it's really a bare minimum, sort of like just to keep the lights on and stay fed, sort of thing. But we don't have any other expenses.
Yeah, there's a ton of overlap. So, for instance, going to BlizzCon was a business expense. It was an amazing trip. Like, I wouldn't say vacation. I'll use the word trip. Because conventions are exhausting, but it's like, that's just part of our business. Yeah. So that's how those kind of trips work.
And something else I'll point out, too, getting started as a, like, freelance, self-employed prop maker person nowadays compared to 5 years ago when I started my business, it's a much noisier world now. A lot more people are trying to do it, so you have to figure out what it is you're going to do that makes you stand out.
It's like that in the illustration world too. Like freelancing for Magic the Gathering cards. Back in the day there was just a couple names, and now it's like every set there's new freelance artists coming in, and they're all amazing. Yeah.
So just being really good isn't enough. You've got to be really good and have something that sets you apart. I'm going to drop a link in this is a book. Disclaimer, I have not read this book yet, but it comes highly recommended. It's called Platform: Get Noticed in a Noisy World. Basically, it's covering how to do that. This is a very noisy world right now. Oh, I goofed, didn't I? Sorry. There it is.
We're both in the same document.
We're both in the same
right
doc.
Now.
We're just tripping
Everything's
over each
cool.
But yeah, that's the idea is what can you do to get noticed in a world where a lot of people are trying to accomplish something very similar.
Awesome. Where'd you hear about that book?
I can't remember, but it's in my wish list. I'm probably
really cool.
going to read it after the book I'm reading right now.
Cool.
And by reading, I mean listening to. I do audiobooks because I can't read. That's not true. I can read just fine. Cool. Who is the question from?
It's at the top of the list now.
Top of the list. Colt, thank you. It's a very good question. Hopefully I know that many of the people in the prop tarts are trying to do something similar. So hopefully somewhere in there we helped you out. A Cosmic Flex says, I'm going to blame all the noise on 240 characters. Twitter updated so that people can post 240 characters now.
Oh, the drama.
I'm sticking to 140. In fact, I'm gonna post less. I'm gonna do 70 just to be a hipster.
There might have been one other business question. Let me skim through.
Sure.
Oh, this one is more. No, we're good. We could just go into normal questions after this.
Oh, this is a good question here from Chris about 3D printing. In fact, Britt, if you can grab Joelbot right there, you see him? Chris says, now that you've made the switch from PLA to ABS for 3D printing, can you ever see yourself going back?
I have a question.
Ready? Cool new stuff! For those of you guys that don't know, Joel telling our buddy, the 3D printing nerd, our other buddy Travis made a 3D model of Robot Joel, or Joelbot, that another artist drew, and people have been 3D printing it. So I finally printed it last night. It came out all right.
It has some issues.
Printing in ABS is tricky.
There was no supports, and I don't think the ABS was cool, temperature-wise, so like the layers didn't... on the overhangs.
Chris is curious about the benefits. He says, is there a noticeable difference or reduction in sanding time with ABS? Yes, that's the main reason why. It's kind of, I want to say softer, more pliable, and when you sand it, it just sands so much better than PLA.
It really does seem like it's the same as Nerf guns. Yeah. Like, there's probably something else in their ABS in Nerf guns, but sanding-wise, like, this stuff sands like a dream. Mm-hmm.
So I don't currently see a reason why I would print with something else. If there's another filament that prints just as well as like a standard PLA, but sands as well as ABS, then I'll give it a go. That's fine. I just don't know what that might be. And a lot of people will be like, well, try PETG or try Hinbeck polystyrene. It's like the ABS sands like a dream.
I didn't touch him, and he went off.
Probius has become self-aware. That's this guy.
I'm gonna turn him off.
That I've sanded a lot of different filaments, and just normal ABS is by far better than all the rest of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I did.
The other artist was Maker's Muse's significant other. That's right, who did the drawing that Travis modeled that everybody's printing.
What a cool collaboration!
Actually, let me find the Joel bot.
I did get to sand a little bit of the PETG filament, the printed, like a little thing that was printed at MatterHackers. It was very nice of them to give me a piece of sandpaper and a little scrap print to play around with. It sands all right. It's better than PLA. Doesn't sand as well as ABS.
Oh, did I goof? Oh, that link works. That's fine.
Cool.
Joel bot. So if you want to... People have been trying to print it without support material, which is possible. The ABS was a little bit tricky, but I see some prints that people have done in PLA that look gorgeous. And the other ones that were done in resin that look incredible. So yeah, there you go. That's the whole Joel bot story. Thank you, Chris. Good question. I am so far... ASA. I just saw a video on MatterHackers about printing in ASA.
Is that the one that's like ABS but for outdoor use?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the MatterHackers, if anyone's watching, if you want to send me some of that stuff, I'd be happy to try it out. I'm actually running low on ABS, so.
Yeah, we'll say in their video, I think the only thing that, because MatterHackers did a little video on it, I think they called out it's good for outdoor use because it doesn't yellow or but we don't care what the color is. No. It's gonna get painted. So if that's the only benefit, I mean it might be something else. All
right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Next question comes from Matt Smith, and he's pointing out that he's not a Time Lord. That sounds like the sort of thing a Time Lord would say. Have you tried any of the oil brushes from Mig Jimenez? I have no idea what any of those are, but there's a link, which is great.
These look really neat.
Kind of spendy for the amount you get, but they look super convenient for the amount of oil paint I'd ever use in a lifetime. Okay, so these are oil paint with a fine brush applicator. Let's see here. Let's go there.
So I assume if you're using oil paint to get in the little crevices for weathering to give it that oily look, that seems pretty nice because I use a Q-tip and then waste a bunch of oil paint that I don't put on there.
Curious what that looks like nail polish. That's cool.
Interesting. I was picturing it being like a pen, but no, it does look like it's an actual
wow, look at that. Like
brush.
Like a nail nail paint. What do they call that?
Model makers have everything all figured out. Nail polish.
Nail polish.
There you go.
Nail paint.
Nail paint. I mean, it's paint that goes on your nails.
Awesome. That seems kind of cool. I don't know. I have oil paint and I have brushes already. So I don't know that I would use something like this, but I think that's kind of cool. Oilbrusher. We'll have a link to that in the show notes, and I'm going to drop it in the chat too if you guys want to go check that out. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Matt Smith. Totally not a Time Lord. Next one comes from Travis. What air compressors do you use? For airbrushing, what PSI do you recommend, and what will be the best thinning ratio? Okay, let's talk about airbrush or air compressors here for a second. We have 3 of them. I've owned 3 or 4 airbrushes in my day. For airbrushing, we have an airbrush compressor. Just a really cheap one. It's fine. The thing you get with cheap airbrushes, though, or cheap airbrush compressors, is moisture in the line. Now, this one has a moisture trap. It doesn't work great. Occasionally, it'll start spitting water out, which really sucks.
If you're using it for long periods of time, it will eventually start spitting water. It's like a guarantee. So,
let's see here. We go to Amazon just real quick. Airbrush compressor. I think it's the Masters one. It's one of these guys here. It's not that one. It's a smaller one.
Do you link that in your airbrush video?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this guy right here, this is what we have. Yeah, I purchased this 4 years ago. Cool.
All right. Yeah, because this question came in right before you put up the airbrush video, I think. So.
And this one's fine for the price. The next time, when this thing dies, and it'll die, trust me, we have not been good to it.
It's fallen on the floor a couple times. I'm amazed it still works.
I believe this one is in my wish list. This might be the next one we get. Again, Master Airbrush, but it's got a tank, so it's got more air. It's got better ratings on Amazon. That's fine. Now, if you only have... if you want to get a shop compressor, like a bigger, noisier shop compressor, and use that to run your airbrush, you can totally do that. And we did that for years. I did that for a long, long time. The first compressor I had was a Husky, like, 2-gallon little guy.
Little pancake one?
Yeah, I got it on sale for a Black Friday deal, and it came with an airbrush, so I was like, I should probably try using this, and it worked out. It was a really crappy one, but it worked. And I used that up until recently, but then the compressor died, so I got another one. Now, if I was buying a new small shop compressor, I have a 21-gallon shop compressor that I never use because it's way too loud, but we have a small DeWalt one that was advertised as quiet. It was pretty quiet, but
oh yeah, this is the one I want.
When my brother moved into his new house, we're like, we should get him an air compressor as a welcome or a home warming gift.
Yeah, as a housewarming gift, we get air compressors for people. So that's what we do.
We bought him this air compressor, and it's way better than my air compressor. Well, it's so quiet.
Yeah, we don't need large volumes usually. So we don't need it to be compressed forever.
Right.
But when this thing kicks on, it is super quiet.
It's so quiet. It's really good. So this is the one that I recommend. California Air Tools. It's like $150, but it is awesome. Super, super awesome. It's on Prime, so you can get it with free shipping, which is great because it's gigantic. You can get it with an aluminum tank, which isn't a bad idea because aluminum doesn't rust. That's probably what I would get. Spend an extra $20 on it. Yeah, Bio Cosplay has it. He says it's the best. Now, you can run an airbrush off of this. You just have to get the right fittings to adapt your hose to it. All of those fittings can be purchased at the hardware store locally. You'll be good to go. As far as PSI, I usually run at about 20 PSI for an airbrush. That's usually totally fine.
Yeah, the teeny little compressor we have that keeps filling itself when it gets used, if you watch the dial, it just goes up to 20. Like you don't have any control over it. It's just like, 20's the max, but the big ones, 20 PSI.
So if you don't already have a shop compressor and you want an airbrush compressor, I recommend getting something like that, especially that one because it's for a compressor, super quiet. And then you're set because you can run air tools off of this, not big air tools, but you could run a ton of stuff. You could run a brad nailer off of that. You could fill a pressure pot with that. You can do all sorts of stuff and run an airbrush off of that.
The Critter Gun siphoner is what, 25 PSI?
Yeah, 25 PSI. Yeah. You can run a critter off of that thing. Yeah. It's awesome. So yeah, this has been the Compressor Hour with Bill and Britt.
Yeah, it's just like I could see using the teeny little tank that just keeps refilling as you use it for if you're doing like teeny little airbrush stuff.
Yep.
But like with ours, it gets warm and it gets water in the line if you just are just trying to do coverage.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bummer.
I will say, if you're going to run an air compressor, like a normal shop air compressor for your airbrush, you may want to get a moisture trap for it, or a moisture filter, or whatever those things are called. Let's see, air compressor.
Yeah, I think there was a post on the Prop Tarts talking a bit about this, and someone pointed out their Harbor Freight little compressor has that issue, and they needed an upgrade like this.
So you can get like one of these jobbies right here that runs your air goes out into this and then out of this into your airbrush just to keep water from, because compressed air, well, as it compresses, will create moisture, and then that gets pressed out of the thing, and then it ruins your paint job. Cool. All right. I think we've covered everything there is to know about compressors. Let's move on. Thank you, Travis. Great question. Hollywood's Rose says, I was inspired by your steel horned helmet, and I've designed and carved my own horn out of foam. Wanted to mold and slush cast it, but I'm not sure what kind of mold to make. 1 part and cut, 2 part, or brush on. I see pros and cons to each. I was curious to hear what you think. Like, a couple things. If you're going to mold something made out of EVA foam or insulation foam, make sure you seal it very well. I would seal it with something rigid like Epsilon Pro.
Or even wood glue. Something.
Something that can get a nice rigid coating that you can sand smooth to your desired finish. Also, if you have any pores of your foam exposed, the silicone is just going to grab right onto that. Now, depending on how intricate the horn
No
is,
one's going to get that joke unless they've seen Svetlana's video. Buy my horn. I'm going to link to that video.
I'll bring it up. But if the horn wraps around in a spiral on itself, that's going to make molding a lot trickier. But a brush-on mold with a mother mold on it might be the best solution. If it's a really straightforward horn that doesn't curve around on itself, you could probably get away with making a 1-part mold with a 2-part jacket that you can pop off and then sort of peel the silicone off of it. If it wraps around on itself, that's where things get really complicated. And you're like
a ram's horn kind of thing.
Yeah. You're gonna have to make a parting line and make a 2-part silicone mold. When you do that, it pays to make the jacket, the seam from the jacket, rotated by 90 degrees, so that the seam from the jacket does not line up with the seam from the silicone.
Oh.
It's not necessary, but it's helpful, so that when you press the 2 halves of the jacket mold together, there's no chance that it will shear the silicone.
Yeah. The only horn mold I've made, and this one is cheating, is the hollow mask that I did with Bill a couple of years ago, because that one it's almost like low poly. It has hard facets on it, so it's this big horn.
It's basically
it's big.
Flat too,
yeah, it has a convenient seam line, so it's a 2-part brush-on mold, and the jacket just is the same seam as the mold seam, but the seam's right on this hard edge that is perfect for that.
Let's see, Blue or Bushang in the chat says, I made antlers that did that. Ended up with a 5-part mold. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Depending on how complicated your horns are, the mold can start to get fairly complicated. It doesn't mean not to do it, but just keep all of that in mind.
Oh, speaking of antlers, Lightning Cosplay did a video on a little antler, and I think she cut it out. But I don't remember how she did her mold jacket. Mm-hmm. But she might have done a 1-part brush-on mold and just kind of cut it free where it needed to be cut free. Lightning Cosplay. I'll link to that video. I'll find it. Lightning Cosplay does really good molding and casting. And I think she has a book on her headdresses and horns. So.
Back to my horn. Buy my horn. And do your horn. Horn.
Thank you for finding that.
We have silly friends. They're awesome. Hey,
so
Patch says, if you want to make horns, why not make it out of cardboard?
There's a really good video on that someone made, also called Hey Patch, on how to make awesome cardboard horns.
I forgot. Oh, I just saw in the chat, Phoenix Drakenfire is curious if we're going to any East Coast cons. I want to take this opportunity to point out that we will be going to very few conventions next year. The main reason is going to be, we'll probably be moving our shop. Everything's going to be in a state of flux. And we are just trying not to commit to anything ahead of time, because who knows what's going to happen. Yeah. Everything's going to be kind of by the seat of the pants next year. We will be at DragonCon. We will be at BlizzCon. If they have one, they're going to have one. And we will be at Emerald City Comic Con because it's literally right there.
Yeah, so. And all our friends come out for that, which is super rad.
I'm sorry we can't really commit to going to any specific conventions other than the ones that I mentioned.
Speaking of, Chul Cosplay submitted a question wondering about any convention outside the U.S. that you want to attend someday.
I've heard really good things about Calgary Expo. Those Canadians know how to party.
Yeah, it sounds like a really cool one.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. Canada doesn't count, though. It's North America. How about Gamescom? I think would be crazy.
Yeah,
I want to experience that just once.
Just a little bit. Like, on the fringe edges, it sounds like it is a monstrously huge convention in Germany, but it would be fun to check out. Maybe not be there to work, because it sounds like it's ridiculous.
Fun to just go.
Yeah, just to go. Good
question. Okay, cool. Good luck, Hollywood's Rose, on your horn. Next one comes to us from Level Up Your Fandom. Can you make a silicone mold on top of a fully painted and finished master? Does it affect the paint at all? You can do it. Odds are good you will damage the paint job. Now, that doesn't mean not to do it. It just means you may have to repaint parts of it or fix it up. I understand a lot of times that happens where you'll finish a prop. It's like you got to get it done for a con. You go to the con, you're like, that was super fun. Now I want to mold it now that I have time. And you can totally mold it. Most traditional paints, just like acrylic paints or even enamels and stuff, the force of pulling the silicone off of it will pull off some of the paint. Now, if you use really durable catalyzed automotive paints, you're probably going to be okay. It'll pop right off, no problem. Most people don't use those. So yes, you can do it, but you will probably damage your paint job.
Most things, when they're completely cured or dry, won't have a reaction to the silicone, but there's also that to consider. Like those oil brush-on bits we were just looking at, those take a longer time to dry. Yeah. So just be aware of that. They might have some curing inhibitions in your silicone.
Now, what added to the question, are there things you need to do to the top coat of the master to prevent issues with the finished paint? So one thing you could do is spray paint the master with a couple of good layers of clear paint. So like people like Crystal Clear, which I believe is a spray can acrylic, I think. Let it dry, like do a good job letting it dry before you go and mold it. You can also spray mold release on the surface of your master. Again, to give that silicone a chance to get off of there. So you clay up your mold, spray that on there. That'll help. But none of those things are going to make sure that your paint job doesn't get damaged at all. So just count on something maybe getting damaged a little bit.
Even just removing the master from the mold could damage it. If it's made out of a bunch of different kinds of materials, those might delaminate. If you have like MDF and styrene, or like the, even the, what was it, the District 9 gun? You made out of a couple different materials. Yep. And we weren't expecting to need the master again. And that one wasn't even painted. It was primed. Mm-hmm. But yes.
Cosmic Flux says, when does the Prop Art meetup usually happen for Emerald City Comic Con? We will announce that probably a week ahead of time. Yeah, that's how we do it.
That convention is in early March, so we got a little bit of time.
Usually
to figure it out.
Saturday or Sunday in the afternoon at some time by the smoothie place.
Yeah, whatever doesn't interfere with a costume contest, prejudging, or contest, because we want to make sure you guys get to go to the meetup.
Thanks for the question. Level up your fandom. Next one is from Wayne's Workshop. Started making tutorials again on YouTube, and this time taking your advice on the weekly releasing of content. Awesome. I'm trying to cover multiple things from 3D game models to foam and electronic stuff like smoke machines. Finding it difficult to spread my content to the masses. How was it for you in the beginning to try and grow your channel and pulling in an audience for your channel? Okay, cool. Let me bring up a spreadsheet. I want to show you guys the how much content we produced and how much of a
impressions or
subscribers we got.
Yeah.
Where did I put that? I have a spreadsheet.
Bill's very proud of it. He tracks all this stuff.
Okay, cool. And 2017 is almost over. Cool. So, in the first year. In 2012, when I first started making YouTube videos...
Back in the day,
I made 13 videos, about one a month, and we got 195 subscribers. In the next year, I published 97 videos, so close to 2 a week. And in that year, we got 8,000 subscribers. So in 2 years, I want to point out, in 2 years on YouTube, we had less than 10,000 subscribers. That's how long it took to grow. Right? And then the next year, we did, again, the same amount of videos, and we doubled our total subscribers. So we are at 20,000 by the end of our 3rd year. It took us 3 years to get to 20,000. The end of the next year, we got to 60, so it tripled that year, which was awesome. And then after our 5th year of doing videos, we had published almost 500. At that point, we hit 150.
Yeah, that year, 2016 was doing almost twice as many videos as well.
But just know, I mean, like, see how much work we did in those first 2 years to get up to 10,000 subscribers, which is a healthy amount. Like, that's a really great milestone. But it took 2 years of consistent work to get there. When you're making videos for the internet, some of those videos are what we would call community content. Some of those videos are discovery content. So most of the videos that we make are community content. These are videos for our community, for the people who are already watching our videos, to bring them valuable content.
Like making a silly probe for BlizzCon. It's such a random cool thing, but I know you guys will appreciate it.
Some of the videos we make are discovery content. They're videos designed to bring in new viewers, right? So some of the things you can do is, good example, when the first Destiny came out, I did a video on the hand cannon video, the foam hand cannon video. It was perfect because I love Destiny, I love hand cannons, I love foam. I made that video, and people were looking for Destiny prop tutorials at that time, and that one ended up getting recommended to everyone. That was a huge video for growth. It was just the right time, right place, perfect project, something I was super into, and it worked out great. Hey Patch just broke 500 subs. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
He says that he stole your audience. We shared.
Yeah.
We shared. That's fine.
There's lots of overlap. Overlap is good. We'll have to do a collaboration with him sometime. That'd be fun.
So think about that. The great thing about community content is that even if you don't have a big community now, you can still make community content. And as you get more subscribers, they'll go back and watch those videos. Mm-hmm. I have videos I made 4 years ago. When I put them out, nobody watched them. But they have views now because people go back and watch them.
And they say things like, "Wow, Bill, you look so young and full of hope."
Yeah, Bill, there isn't any gray in your beard. That's crazy.
Your hoodie looks so clean.
Your hoodie looks so clean. That's just crazy to me, though, to go back and look at these old videos. Because in the first year, let's do the old. Can I do oldest?
Yeah, sort by oldest.
Sort by
next to that one. Yep.
Newest? I don't see oldest.
That's weird. It's usually there.
Oh, I know how I can do this. We'll go to our page.
I don't know. It's weird. It's maybe when you're logged in, it's a little different.
Yeah, if we go to our page and go to videos, we can sort by oldest.
Okay, Britt.
If you guys want to chuckle, you can go back and watch our first videos.
Can we watch part of the Cat Boss one? That one's my favorite.
Sort by oldest.
I would very much like to watch the beginning of that
This is the first video. Oh, Cat Boss?
Yeah.
All right.
The intro of this is great, guys.
With prop culture.
Oh, that's not a thing anymore. Please don't email that.
We haven't changed very much.
No.
Oh, he looks so much thinner.
Quit.
Ender looks so young. Oh, Buddha Cat.
So do I. With just fledgling gray in my beard.
I'll run my own business. I'm going to make props for a living.
Yay!
Yay.
All right, that's all.
And so, for example, I did that video in May of 2012. We had less than 200 subscribers. Since then, 5,000 people have watched it. Because people go back and watch those old videos. So don't feel bad about like putting out a lot of community content. Just know that you've got to do some discovery content out there that's designed to bring in new eyeballs.
Yeah, you're mentioning smoke machines. So if you have a how to make your own smoke machine video, that's a discovery video. And then like people are just going to Google that and they're going to find your channel and then go watch all the other stuff you do. I will say also, whatever platform you end up on, being active on that platform in other people's sections of it is huge. So if you're on YouTube, find other YouTube channels that you like and be active in their community and be helpful and nice.
Yep.
And those people, like, you don't even have to be like, hey, come watch my video. Just be helpful.
Definitely don't be the guy that's like, hey, I'm here. Please sub to my channel.
Yeah,
because those
don't
guys
be
get
that
ignored.
guy. But just being honestly helpful and being active and if you watch a video and in your head you think that was really cool, actually go to the comments and post.
Yeah,
stuff.
say, hey, that was really cool.
Yeah, because they'll appreciate it, but then they'll be like, hey, who's this guy? Because YouTube lets you know how many subscribers people have. So most people who comment, they don't have any because they don't have a YouTube channel, so it doesn't list it. But if you have any amount of subscribers, they'll be like, oh, they must have something on their channel. So they'll click on it and go check you out. And then they're going to comment on your stuff. And it's that kind of thing where you all raise each other up, which is really neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another suggestion. Just be active on your different platforms on other people's content in a positive way, a positive, helpful way. That is the best, and that's what the prop tarts are. That's one of the reasons I love you guys so much. You are such a great community.
That question.
TNT Cosplay Supply says that's how we found Evil Ted.
Yeah,
that's great.
That came to us from Wayne's Workshop. Thank you, Wayne. That's a great question. Next one is No Spaceship, who is curious, what is the best resin for making clear gems without a pressure pot? So first thing, go follow Rocketman Props. He's the gem guy, and I believe he does all that with epoxy. I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he might use Clearcast, but epoxies are good because they do take a long time to cure, and that lets all the bubbles come out of the resin, which is super handy.
Yeah. I can't find. Maybe smooth. There was something I remember using from Tap Plastics.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't used their stuff in a while. We still have some of it though. Yeah, the little containers.
We do. Epoxicast 690 is a UV resistant clear casting epoxy. You want epoxies because they have a long cure time.
Oh yeah, look at that.
The stuff right here.
I was thinking of their Clearcast, but this one's different.
This stuff has a 24-hour cure time, and that's going to be plenty of time for the bubbles to come out. So, give that a go. I've never tried this stuff myself, but I've used other epoxies similar to it. Mm-hmm. And that should be able to help you out. You can color it with So Strong color tints, which is awesome. I
will say, definitely before you purchase, read through all of the data. I believe epoxies have a certain dimensional maximum. So, like for small gems, great. It might be like, oh, anything that's thicker than 2 inches, it won't cure in the center. It'll stay gummy. Like it just doesn't. There's a reason it's not used for everything. I'm not sure. They could have solved that issue.
Rocketman's in the chat. He says he uses
that one.
Crystal Clear. There we go.
Which I believe says it is not safe for home use.
Yeah.
So just don't cast it in your living room.
There we go. And again, like these have. Oh, this one's got a 90-minute cure time. That's crazy.
Yeah, this stuff.
This one's 7 days.
The resins we use cure quickly. We use it in a pressure pot, but they tend to cure a little bit amber colored. They're not perfectly crystal clear, but this stuff actually is.
What is this? This is a urethane. Okay, this is urethane.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Again, haven't used it, but if you have more questions, ask Rocketman because he's awesome. Also in the chat right now.
Thank you, Rocketman.
Thanks, buddy. Also,
stay away from polyurethane, resin thingies, whatever that is. The kind that smell awful.
The polyester?
Polyester. Thank you. Polyester, not polyurethane.
I would rather not use polyester for anything ever again.
Yeah. Stay away from polyester stuff. It's not worth it.
And Rocketman says if you're looking for guest tutorials, he has no desire to make tutorials on his own channel, but he might be convinced to make one for us.
Oh my gosh.
And he's up just north of us.
That would be so much fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
We should make a gem costume out of all of your failed gems if you still have them.
Just covered in gems.
Yeah.
Let's see
the
here.
Sparkliest.
Another question from No Spaceship. Where do you get your black upholstery foam for use in foam and armor? I get mine at Fred Meyer, which is a department store, a slightly classier Walmart here in the Northwest.
In the camping section.
Yeah, like the camping home improvement section, they just have upholstery foam.
I've bought it online before. I think when we use it in a video, the upholstery foam link in those videos is where we get it on Amazon. But I bought it online at random foam places before. They're all pretty similar.
Yeah. There's in Bellevue, there's the Friendly Foam Store, which is awesome. They have all kinds of cool foams like that. So yeah, just gonna have to look around or order it online.
Yeah.
I just buy it at Fred Meyer because I know what I'm gonna get when I go there.
Yeah.
They have both the yellowish one and the black one.
Yeah. It's great. If you go to like Joann Fabrics, they tend to just have white or green, because it goes inside fabric or inside pillows. They don't care that if it's a dark color.
Do we have any more questions, Brittany? Is that it?
Let me check. I haven't checked the folder.
Let's go take a look and see if any came in during the show.
I haven't been posting the link lately.
We're at about an hour right now, but we can keep rolling if we got any more questions.
No more emailed. People have been chatting to us in the chatty chat.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what then. Why don't we end this thing? Call it good right there. But we may stick around in the chat for a little while. I know I need to go get more water. I'm empty. But hey, gang, thank you so much for hanging out with us today on Prop Live Q&A. Thank you guys for bringing your fantastic questions. You guys are awesome. Thanks for helping us out. Thanks for making our careers possible. You guys are the best. Of course, the best way to do that is over on Patreon. We're going to start plugging that a little bit more lately because we're going to need your help with some of the really ambitious things that we have coming up. Also, another thing to point out real quick about Patreon, as a patron, once a week you get a post over there that includes all of the content we made that week, which is a great way to make sure you stay up to date. So that's a huge bonus for helping us out. That's all we have for you guys today. Thank you again. Keep being awesome, and we will see you all next week for another exciting edition of Prop Life Q&A.
Thank you, everyone.
Yay.